Coming up on Michigan Replay, the Wolverines go on the road and continue to build momentum with a win at Northwestern. We'll have the highlights. We'll also meet Michigan's Mr. Positive, who patrols the defensive line of scrimmage. And we'll look ahead to next week as we scout next-door neighbor Eastern Michigan. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Pepsi, More Happy, by Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA, by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? By the University of Michigan Health System, working together, that's the Michigan difference. By Big Boy Restaurants, Big Boy, it's a Michigan thing. And by TCF Bank, for all your banking needs, all you need is a little TCF. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay, the Wolverines' first road game at Northwestern, and they get a victory, 28-16. But I got to tell you, you made me nervous there for a while. It was a lot tougher than I think a lot of people expected.
Well, there isn't any question, Jim. It was the first time you go on the road, a lot of young guys, and Northwestern, I thought, really played extremely hard. They were not the same team that we watched on film from the previous week, so give them some credit, but we struggled in the first half.
While we're doing this, I just thought I asked you, how's your cold? Because you sound you sound a little like Froggy here.
Yeah.
But you're okay.
Yeah,
folks out there worry about you, you know. Anyway, the big thing too is that you got Chad Henne back into the mix a little bit in this game against Northwestern.
Well, I'd say more than a little bit, Jim, to correct you. But yeah, it was great to have him back. He has really worked extremely hard to get back to where he was ruled ready to play by the doctors, and he started the game with a bang.
Well, they got the ball first. This is the first play of the game, and it's kind of freakish.
Well, it's a weird play here. Number 45, Obiose, thinks the man's down, so instead of finishing the tackle, I think he was afraid of a late hit there, and they go 60 yards. Our defense stiffens because Brandon Engelman saved a touchdown there because it could have been 7-0.
They go up 3-0. Now this is first possession of yours, Chad Henne back in the ball game.
Well, we get good protection, and third down, Chad throws Adrian Arrington, who continued in this game to play extremely well as he has all year.
Boy, nothing wrong with Chad's arm, huh?
No, he's ready to go, and Mario had his best game of the year, caught 10 passes, and made some very good runs.
And here's a great play by Chad going to his second receiver.
Well, he looks left and gets Mario, and Mario makes a guy miss, and now we take the lead.
7-3 at this point. Now, Northwestern offensively in the first half did some things in the run game I kind of think surprised you a little bit.
Well, I think more than anything else, Obiose was getting his first start in there, Jim, and they gave us a few wrinkles that were new, but Obi really settled down, and we played much better in the second half defensively. Here's the worst play of the game from the standpoint that we don't get our defense set. We lined up wrong, and now you got to hold the defense. But even then, it would have been okay, but we let the ball outside the defense. So now they get a big play there to take the lead.
And then out of the spread, Bechet gets a little bit of a running play. Then he gets a 15-yard penalty for unnecessary, and they're in business again.
Well, Jim, that penalty, we stop them here, but the 15-yard penalty gave them an additional field position, and they kick a field goal to extend their lead.
That's a 49-yarder, 13-7, and it doesn't end there. The first half's not over.
No, we're struggling on offense, and right here, Morgan Trent, when we need it, comes up with a big interception. We got decent field position here, and we put together our second drive of the first half.
And Ryan Mallett in at quarterback.
Yeah, Ryan came in after the first drive, made a nice throw there deep to Mario, going to make another play here, scrambling around. Again, a good presence. Looks down the field, finds Adrian Arrington for a first down.
But unable to convert.
Well, we threw 3 passes down there and couldn't make a first down, and then miss a field goal. So instead of it being 13-10, now Northwestern gets a couple of good plays here, a great pitch and catch, and they are on the march.
They're on the march, and they're pretty confident. They're playing pretty confidently here in the end of this first half.
Well, they played well in the first half. Our defense did it, with the exception of the big play, managed to keep them out of the end zone, but they did make 3 field goals. So now we're 2 scores down going into the half,
right?
And having not played well.
16-7 the score at half. We might mention that Chad Henney's touchdown pass did break a record. He's now Michigan's leading touchdown pass.
Make them have to pass, and in the second half we finally got to that.
Wolverines trailed Northwestern on Saturday at the half, 16-7, and the plan was to go with Chad Henney for the first series of the first half, first series of the second half. What changed your mind, because you went with him the entire second half? Was it medical issue, or how he was feeling? Well,
our doctors and Paul Schmidt, our trainer, I think that they felt that it was perfectly fine for Chad to play. He felt great. He looked good in practice. But they did not feel that he should play an entire game. He was not ready to do that. So our thoughts were play him in the first drive of each half, and then from there see how he felt. And every time I asked him, he felt great. And here he comes.
He looks great on that throw, didn't he?
Well, that's a great throw. I mean, coming to your left, and then we get the running game going a little bit here, crossing midfield, great field position.
And here on a 1st and 10, Chad hooks up again with Arrington.
Well, we really did a good job protecting Chad, and this is another one of those timing routes that he sets his feet, delivers the ball before the defender can get there, and Adrian is a sure-handed guy.
And he made some great third-down conversions. Here's one.
Well, here's one by Greg Matthews, who he had 3, I think, on the day, and all of them were important that kept drives alive. And here, Chad checks the ball down to Carson Butler, and now we take the lead for the first time.
16-14 at that point. They're still up, actually. You didn't get the lead at that point.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, you better stop that now.
I've been known to do that.
I know. You got to stop that. We got to get this highlight package in. You're down 16-14, but your defense starts playing, gets the ball back to your offense, and you guys go back to work.
Well, here Chad hits Mario in the quick out and keep a drive alive. Here is probably as critical a play as there was in the ball game. This is a 60-yard punt. He's with the wind, and the ball turned over. Extremely difficult ball to catch in that wind, and we get great field position defensively.
Well, and that's the key. You got great field position. You let them out, though, on this play. They get the first down on you, but at this point, I think the defense really takes over, especially your front 4.
Well, they do, and we get great pressure here. Knock the ball loose, and Brandon Graham knocked it loose, and Sean Craver got on it. We've got great field position now.
And here's a 3rd and 10 laser from Henney.
Well, this is good a play as he fits it in there, and there wasn't much space between the defender and the receiver.
Now you have the lead.
Now we have the lead.
So now you're back. It's about you're telling me.
Well, here on the 2nd consecutive possession, we hit the quarterback. Brandon Harrison made a wonderful play, blitzing off the edge, and caused the ball to be thrown up in the air, some way deflected. And Tim Jamison rambled down the sideline, and we got a chance to go up by 8, but we can't convert.
Yeah, he didn't get it in the end zone, then you missed the field goal. But here's their 3rd possession and another turnover.
Well, it's good zone coverage. We had good pressure. The ball was thrown slightly behind the receiver, and Obieze caught the ball, and now we got another chance.
Well, and Mike Hart helps you make it a little more comfortable.
Well, this is an amazing football play. because that play was starting out over right tackle and ended up coming all the way back outside the left end.
Then you go behind Jake Long again, you get in the end zone. Now things are a little bit more comfortable at 28-16, but on the ensuing kickoff.
Well, you know, a week ago they ran one back 99 yards for a touchdown, and against us here, at the time where you all you have to do is get them down and not let them have great field position, but they bust a return up there for 50-some yards and great field position.
But here comes your defense.
Well, for the fourth straight possession there, Sean comes off the edge, hits a quarterback, and Terrence Taylor gets the ball, and now we can run the clock out.
28-16 the final. Talk to me about coming out of the game, and again, going back to Chad Henne and how he played in that second half, given the fact that you only wanted to get him a couple of series. How did he come out of that game with the knee health-wise?
Well, I think he came out extremely well. I think he, got back into game competition. The speed of the game was good for him. The great news is that we did a great job protecting him, but I think he's very close to being back to 100%, and certainly mentally this was, a game I think that really will be helpful to him because he knows he's back.
Yeah, don't want to, I know that this is probably too early to talk to this. Are you going to handle him pretty much the same way next week, or are you going to wait to see what happens in practice?
Well, we're going to see what happens in practice, Jim. That's why you practice. You should know that.
I was trying to get something good out of you, and you just threw me under the bus.
Yes, I did. I like that.
Yeah, I know you do. You enjoy
really,
that part of this.
Really, that's what we've tried to do the last 2 weeks, is to see how it goes. And Ryan Mallett is getting a lot of snaps. I thought he did some very good things in there.
And he's
today.
coming along, isn't he? I mean,
Yes.
despite the fact that it didn't go as well as you'd like today, he's still getting that experience.
Well, he had one really good drive there at the end of the half, Jim. He went on the road for the first time in the Big Ten. And, every time he plays, he's going to learn and he's going to get better from it. So I made one great throw there deep to Mario. So there's some very positive things. And you can't buy the experience he's gained in the last 3 weeks.
All right. That puts a wrap on the Northwestern game. When we come back, we'll meet Chris Graham up close and personal. But first, we hear from that man, Chad Henne, who says it's a simple case of quarterbacking and taking what they give you.
They're up front guys. They're 7 guys up front, really stopped the run and gave us a chance to give open lanes, open seams for us to throw the ball. And that's what our coaching staff did, took advantage of it.
Now, the Pontiac Performance Play of the Game.
From the left hash at the 16, he drops the throw, has time, firing, post cut at the goal line, touchdown, Michigan, Adrian Arrington. What a throw by Henne.
Man, that was a laser from Chad Henne.
And Michigan, with a 20-16 lead, is going to go for 2 right here.
Linebacker Chris Graham is in his senior year at Michigan, and like a lot of others, he's played a lot. But this year, he gets his first chance to start and be a senior leader. And to Graham, leading is about being positive.
I try to make sure that I'm always positive. I try to be positive. I might have a little slump where I want to do better always. Even when I'm playing the game, I want to do better. But you can never really hold your head down. And I just try to have a positive attitude because I am a leader. I'm trying to show my leadership to the guys that are seniors also and the young guys. So that way my team can move as one and we cannot be separated. So, you try to have that same mindset and try to make sure that everyone is on the same page. So if I can show a little bit of my positive part of the team, maybe the other guys will fill in with it.
Chris is one of the more positive guys you'll ever meet. He takes obstacles in stride and makes the best of it, like his transition from high school to college.
The little thing for me was just the time frame, how much time you was spending between school and football. I was like, wow, I don't have no personal time. I want to hang out like everybody else. I see everybody doing their own thing, but that's what it is. You come here, you take care of business. You don't want to really have too much time to yourself. Or like in the second semester, you kind of have that little bit of time off, and it kind of gets distracting. But I like the football in school, having that orderly type of thing. So I grew up with that, and I like it a lot.
These days, Chris's positive spirit has been challenged. The Wolverines' early struggles have brought out the vultures. Do you think this negative maelstrom will have an effect on Graham? This Indianapolis native says no way.
I want to play every game like it's my last game, and I try to be on every play. So if someone can make it, I guarantee you that I tap my teammates and show them that I'm right there behind them, supporting them. And that's the type of mindset that I have, that every game could be my last game to play. So I want to be hungry as much as possible. And as far as like being with my team, I see those guys playing every day. I know how these guys have the ability, and no one gets to see it. And I just want everyone to move the same path to play that way, you know. It's just a growing thing. We have a lot of younger guys that are fast, and, you know, this whole defense is fast, and guys want to, you know, feel like, you know, the defense is short-handed. We're really not, you know. We just need to get everybody on the same page and move together.
When we had the opportunity talking to Chris Graham, this kid just won't stop smiling, and he won't stop being positive.
And you know something, Jim? He's been that way since the day he got here, and that he'll be that way 25 years from now. He's just got a wonderful
And he's really improved.
approach.
He's gotten better.
Yes, he has. He is a tough, competitive guy that loves to play.
All right, when we come back, we'll look ahead to next week and Eastern Michigan. But first, we hear from Brandon Engelman, who says, whoever the Wolverines play, they're going to be tough.
Being Michigan, we got teams that's going to come after us no matter who they are, no matter what record they have, no matter what record we have, they're going to come after us every week, so we got to be prepared.
Take you inside the locker room.
We just can't take any team lightly, you know. Every team's going to come after us, you know. Every team's going to want to put their best up against Michigan. So we just got to prepare hard every week in practice, you know, and come out and play our best on Saturdays.
Wolverines at home again next week against Eastern Michigan, just up the road, a MAC school. Again, I think this year, given what's happening around college football, Coach, strap it up every week, huh?
Well, nobody knows that better than us, but it's true when you look around some of the things that happened this past weekend. And, of course, that's it's such a long season, truthfully. And, you know, a lot of things can happen. And if you aren't prepared, then you have turnovers, you give up big plays, and the next thing you know, you're fighting for your life.
Well, Jeff Janik in his fourth year, Andy Schmidt, their quarterback. This is a team that beat Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois is pretty well respected.
Well, that was a great win for him. And Jeff, I think, you know, this is really a competitive team. He's in his fourth year, and you know his dad was a great player here at Michigan, and he's got this team playing extremely hard.
And Anthony White's their big wide receiver. On defense, Jason Jones is their big defensive tackle, 6'5", 270, leads the team in tackles for loss. He can play, and linebacker Daniel Holtzclaw is fourth in the NCAA in tackles, over 12 a game.
That's unbelievable statistics.
I mean, I don't care what league you're playing in, huh?
That's playing the game for 60 minutes, because 12 and a half tackles a game, you're getting to a lot of footballs.
And besides Eastern Michigan, one of the things that I think that you have to look at is the health of your team. You're getting some guys nicked up a little bit.
Well, we've got a lot of guys nicked up, Jim. We need to get in the training room this week, because we've had 5 real physical games. Saturday was a tough, hard-fought football game, and so hopefully we can get them back together. We'd like to get some of these guys back, John Thompson. But the good news is that OBSA, we've had some guys step up and really play well while guys were out.
The other thing I wanted to mention is that Mike Hart, we were talking about it during the break. At the end of the game, you'd have thought he made 60, 65 yards, maybe 50. He had over 100 again. He is now second in the all-time rushing list at Michigan. This kid's just amazing.
Well, he is amazing.
He's got to be your best friend, huh?
Well, he's a great leader in our football team. Of course, that's something really he's always been. But he's a selfless guy, and you know, he has the respect of everybody. And when you have a guy like him, you know, everybody's paying attention, because nobody's going to play harder than he does.
Yeah. Take your Vicks Vapo Rub, okay?
I need some, don't
You
I?
do. You do sound like Froggy in the Little Rascals. Hey, next week we'll talk Eastern Michigan. Hopefully he won't talk like Froggy, and you'll enjoy a victory as we come back to you, same time, same place, right here on Michigan Replay.
Michigan Replay. The Wolverines notched their 4th straight win as they handle non-conference foe Eastern Michigan. We'll have the highlights. We'll also meet a young man who's been challenged his entire career and has flourished through it all. And we'll look ahead as we scout pass-happy Purdue, Michigan's next conference test. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Abso Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Sirius Satellite Radio. By the University of Michigan Alumni Association, uniting the leaders in best, www.umalumni.com. By State Farm, providing insurance and financial services. By AT&T, for a behind-the-scenes look at sports, visit attblueroom.com/sports. And by Powered by Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA.
Welcome to Michigan Replay, everybody. The Wolverines had Eastern Michigan on Saturday, came away with a 33-22 victory in Ann Arbor on a sizzler. I thought, this is October. I figured that was hot down there.
I'll tell you one thing. If there's been a hotter October day, I don't remember.
But it was a big, big victory for your team. And maybe some people out there are not sure about the score, think it's close. You had 10 players on your 2D that didn't dress. That's remarkable.
Well, Jim, I don't remember a team that went into a game with that many guys who were starters and one backup, Brandon Miner. So we talked all week about you have to prove you can play when you're not at full strength, and that means a lot of guys that normally don't get opportunities to play get to play. And it's important that they come out and perform well, and I think that happens some.
Overall, in this game, I think you got good experience, and the young kids, when asked, stepped up.
Well, there's no question we moved Steve Schilling to guard and started a young guy, Mark Ortman. And early in the game, we get a big turnover defensively. Morgan Trent made a wonderful play there and gets the ball deflected. Jamar Adams comes up with an interception, and we got great field position.
But here's the next play. You get down to the goal line, and again, the inexperience or the change of position causes a problem in pass play.
Well, on a third down play, we get beat. Our guard gets beat inside there, and now we're forced to take a field goal.
But that's a tackle playing guard once again.
Yeah, and it's a very different position. I thought Steve got much better as the game went on. And Casey Lapata came in and kicked the field goal.
Made a change at the field goal thing, and Casey did a nice job.
Yes, he did. I'm sure he felt a lot of pressure, and he handled it very well.
They kicked the ball down in here to the 1-yard line, and this really looked like, because you're just leading 3-0 at this point. They got field position, and I thought this was the biggest drive of the game.
Well, we ran the ball very effectively, and Mike Hart had another big day. But to come out of the shadows of your own goal line and run 20 yards on first down gets you some decent field position.
And this is Mike's run that breaks the all-time individual rushing record at Michigan.
Well, it was kind of a typical Mike Hart run there.
He didn't get it cheap, did he?
No, he didn't, and he didn't get many yards cheap in his career here. But what a great